And here we are with the easily most underrated Marvel film of this new Phase 3. So, how was it? Let's find out. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is coming from my basement today, apparently. And the film I'm going to talk about today is Ant-Man. This is the, first film of Phase 3 of the MCU, and it stars Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and Corey Stoll in the main roles, and let's get into it. Now, this film has had a very bumpy road from its announcement. People were like, Ant-Man, how is that going to be good? And then they had director situations, and the cast got booed at last year's Comic-Con because they showed footage that had Edgar Wright's stuff in it, and it's just a very bad situation. Nobody was really expecting this to be good, maybe okay at best, and it's actually really, really good still. And part of what makes it work is Paul Rudd. His portrayal as Scott Lang works really, really nicely. He is a funny guy, he is charismatic, he has a family that he cares about. He's also a very cunning thief, he's funny. He's got these three kind of goofy sidekicks around him, which kind of gives a kind of a comic booky feel. It's just a cool origin story. This is the first origin story that we've had on Earth since Captain America, and so it's been a while. And so it felt a little bit weird for the first probably hour until Ant-Man meets Falcon. It really did not really feel like it was in the MCU, in my opinion. It was just like the story about this thief who has redemption, and he's now in an Ant-Man suit. And it's kind of neat how it's able to stand out on its own with just kind of mild references here or there to the events of the Avengers and to Captain America and Iron Man. And it's just kind of neat to see all that stuff play out. Part of what else makes this work is Corey Stoll, because from the very get-go, you find out this guy is just evil, batshit crazy. This is very early in the movie, but he has this like gun type of thing, it's like a shrink ray. And there's this person that he doesn't like, and so he shoots the person with it. It just becomes a glob of goo, and person is basically dead. And just scoops up with a toilet tissue and flushes them down the toilet. Just like, that's just no remorse, no anything, just killed someone just like that and flushed them down the toilet. It's like, you have to be some sort of sick, maniacal bastard to some degree to be able to just do that without blinking an eye. Part of what else makes this film work is Evangeline Lilly and Paul Rudd's chemistry together, because they start out kind of butting heads. Evangeline Lilly thinks that she deserves to be in the Ant-Man suit. Paul Rudd's just kind of a guy who's been put into the Ant-Man suit. And so they're really butting heads for the first hour of this film, and then eventually they kind of grow to depend on each other, and more things evolve from that. So I really liked their chemistry and kind of their arc throughout this film. Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas, they also work really nicely together. Michael Douglas as this old wise man who's experienced the Ant-Man suit. He was the original Hank Pym Ant-Man, and now he's teaching a protege, Scott Lang, to use the suit. And it had a very X-Men First Class feel for me when you have Scott Lang kind of just learning how to use the suit and everything. It reminded me of that, just like the scene montage in First Class where all the X-Men are just kind of learning how to use their powers and being trained to do it. It had, I don't know why, it just had that type of feel for me, and it was kind of neat because there's a lot of trial and error and then eventually a lot of success. And so, I don't know, it wasn't a bad thing, but it made the film feel very familiar for the first hour, because like, I know roughly how this is going to go. Show me something unexpected. As you probably heard, the film is very funny. It's probably one of the more funny Marvel films, and that's saying something for a franchise which is known for its jokes and for its humor. It really relies on this, and part of what makes it work is Michael Pena. He is just one of these side characters, but he has a lot of really good jokes and monologues which just make the film immensely hilarious. And there's scenes where he's monologuing over a scene where someone else is talking, and the lip sync is just spot on, and it looks really, really cool. And just his reactions to things, it made the movie work on another level than it would have been as just a basic action film. That said, the action scenes are actually really, really good as well. They don't really pick up until about the end, but when they do pick up, there's a lot of humor mixed in with action, and it all looks really, really neat, and I really enjoy those scenes. And then lastly, with the thing I'm not going to talk about right here, I'll probably do a spoiler review on my blog, link down below. But the end credit scenes, there's two of them in this film. The first one is more Ant-Man related, and the second one is a setup for Civil War. So these two scenes are really, really neat and make me really excited for May next year. Overall, Ant-Man was a much better film than I was honestly expecting it to be. It's got humor, it's got action. Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Corey Stoll, they're all great in their roles. Corey Stoll is a great villain. I have a slight issue with how he gets into his costume, like just like that, when it takes Paul Rudd about 10 seconds when he's hurrying. But, I mean, outside of that, the film is really, really good. It's a great installment into the MCU. It stands on its own as an origin story without having to kind of rely on a lot of Avengers-y things to make it work, which is tough, I would think, because Guardians, it was set in kind of its own universe. It could have been its own film set in its own area, and it basically was, with just slight references to Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. So this film basically does the same thing. It's set on Earth, new characters, new cast, new everything, and it works really, really nicely, and I really did enjoy Ant-Man. But those are my thoughts on Ant-Man. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.